Ladies and gentlemen, I deeply apologize, very deeply from the bottom of my heart, that I could not bring this to you sooner. I honestly wanted to be one of the first videos for this on YouTube, but alas, that is not going to be the case. I kind of had to delay this. I had a really clusterfuck morning today, and including afternoon. I just couldn't get anything done that I needed to get done, and so I started playing this really late, and the end result was me messing with the contrast of this game. In fact, that might still be messed up for all I know. Let's take a look really quick. Nope, the contrast is normal. Essentially, you see how deeply the contrast changes when I click on these. Well, earlier today I was playing it in a window, and when I had it in a window, it did not actually show any of the changes, so I turned it up to max, thinking that the contrast was a lot lighter than it should have been. But in fact, it turned out the contrast was severe, but it wasn't showing up in my actual window, it was only showing up in the Fraps recording, so I think that might be a little bit better. Let's just see what else. What does the game do? Makes it a bit brighter. I just felt like everything was a little bit too shiny. That might be what we need. Okay, so just a forewarning, the frame rate of this game on my computer is not that good. And what I hear is it seems to be affecting a lot of people too. It's just the frame rate is worse than Risen 2 in spite of the fact that the recommended system requirements are roughly the same. It does run a little bit worse than Risen 2 did on my system, but my computer is really old. I kind of wished I had a new one for this, but I just could not pull together that kind of money in that kind of time. So, we'll get into more as we go along. Let's just start a new game and get right into the wonderful, lovely tutorial intro.
I knew it'd be hard. Damn, when was it ever easy? How many times during my countless raids did death stare me right in the face? But that hideous face staring back at me was beyond even my imagination.
There is no escape. Your body belongs to me. Men, attack.
So there's Crow, and his voice actor is even worse than he was before. No, honestly, I thought his voice actor was pretty good in Risen 2. And you'll probably notice a pretty bad frame right here. And you'll notice sound samples of Steve Blum from Gothic 3 are still present in this game. One thing that amused me about the first Risen was the fact that they reused a lot of sound samples, but only when you're hitting people in the back. When you're hitting people in the back, for some reason they use sound like the pain sounds from characters from from Gothic 3. And once again, it seems like Piranha Bytes legitimately owns the rights to those sound samples because they are using them to death. And the tutorial is a little bit annoying here because it keeps freezing you anytime you try to do something. So it's a little bit annoying. It doesn't seem like it can be skipped, so you kind of have to deal with it. I can't put my weapon away for some reason. Okay, so you can see I can't do anything else until I actually do what the tutorial is telling me to do. That was a bit fun. And of course when you try to walk past it, it's going to blow up again. So that makes sense. Alright, so right now we don't have any kind of riposte ability, so I can just block these guys. They're not terribly aggressive. What the hell? Alright, that's the first major animation glitch I've seen so far. I think I just whistled there. I apologize for that. So yeah, like I said, when I was trying to do this earlier, oh yeah, I have to hold it. And of course it tells me to do that right as I'm about to take a hit. Essentially, the power attacks are good because they break hits. I'll talk a bit more about the combat system when we have less urgency in mind. Of course, you can fire your pistol as well, but I missed. I don't know how he got away from that. Oh, you dirty bastard. Oh, hey. So I'm helping Patty. I blocked a hit for her. That's kind of funny. The good thing about this game is you can use your secondary weapon as much as you want to. You no longer need to wait for a cooldown. And I love that, like, even when your guard is broken, you can still do a dodge roll. So that helps out a lot. The problem is there seems to be some major delays. I'll talk about that more. Right now we get to watch some awesomely animated swordplay. Of course, everything else goes quiet while this happens. Was he calling forth the Kraken? No. It's just another big fish.
That bastard.
Hey,
Hey,
Depth of field is back on. I don't want it.
it's always the same.
the ghost captain.
He haunts me almost every night.
It's just a dream. Real life is out there waiting for us.
Anchors away!
Come on, we're here.
At the Crab Coast. How long was I asleep?
Far too long. Now come on, get your ass out of the cabin. I'll go and wait for you on the shore.
So, of course, Patty has been completely remodeled. She is much more slutty than she was in either of the previous incarnations, which were already more than enough. However, she does have the same voice actress, so I'll give credit for that. Whatever localization team they had as far as voices go seems to be the same that they had for Risen 2. So at least we don't have to worry about terribly inconsistent voices. Some of them should be the same. Patty's obviously is, and I don't know about Crow's, but I'm pretty sure Alvarez is. Alvarez will be mentioned later. I'm kind of spoiling things a bit. I'll try not to make spoilers, but if you're wondering what we're doing on a pirate ship with Patty, and while we're looking for treasure, oh wow, those textures are terrible. Yeah, this is one of those games. Piranha Bytes. I mean, let's face it. They're working with a genome engine, which is extremely. I mean, the genome engine never even worked in the first place. They managed to make it mostly work with the first Risen, but that was pretty much the extent of its abilities, and they've really stretched it beyond its lifespan at this point. So you can see just about every area that they're making shortcuts or just suffering through the limitations. But yeah, if you want to know why exactly we're on board with Patty, well, you're about to find out. Oh wow, it actually has a rebound thing. I rebound some of the controls just for my own sake. One thing I am really happy to see, though, this game, it has a dedicated dodge button, which a lot of games don't have. Usually games, when they have a dodge button, will, like they'll bound, especially this one, you either double tap or you use a jump key, but you can only use a jump key while you're in the parry mode. So the fact that they allow you to bind a button specifically to dodge is cool, although you do have to bind it yourself. If you go into the options, key assignments, it says dodge right here. There is nothing there by default, so you have to bind it yourself. Just remember that you can do that, because that'll probably make things a lot easier for a lot of people. You don't have to worry about accidentally jumping. You know, if you're fighting and then you drop your parry and then you just try to dodge and you just jump instead. Just remember, you can bind that, and no matter what happens, you can always dodge, even when you're sprinting. So that's that. Now I'm not really sure what's up with these parrots here. Either they fucked up the textures, or they tried to add some kind of motion blur that really did not work. more fisticuffing crabs, though. So basically, I got through the entire tutorial area.
Right.
And then I found out that I fucked everything up.
Of the southern seas, we need to get to the ancient temples. According to the map, we need to follow the path. Come on,
That
dearest
path?
brother. We'll be rich soon.
And she just said it. So yes, our character, as I mentioned in the spoiler video for last time, is actually the brother of Patty Steelbeard. I'm assuming it's a half-brother, because Steelbeard was known to be very promiscuous and have...
Where are you wandering off to? We've got to stay on the path.
There's more to find here. Sticking to the path, that's the cardinal sin of RPGs. I'll probably just kind of screw everything up for a while. I'm having trouble with the controls. I had more trouble in the original video I tried to do because I was trying to do...
Oh, that really hurt.
Yeah, it did. I was trying to do it with a gamepad since I had it in a window. Damn it. We get raw meat from a turtle. That's good. Yeah, I was trying to play with a gamepad, and I was having too much trouble because since I don't really play many games with a gamepad, my reflexes defaulted to Dark Souls. So I kept pressing the wrong buttons when I was trying to dodge, the wrong buttons when I was trying to attack. And, yeah, giant crabs are back. In the original Risen...
We've gone too far. We need to turn back.
Excuse me, I was talking.
Do you even fucking know where we are?
Yes, I do know where we fucking are.
Huh. Alright. But if you want to go back, just tell me, okay?
So yeah, if you get lost going the other way, which is kind of hard to do because it's not really that big of an area. It's a tutorial after all. But if you do get lost, you can just ask her and she'll probably lead you back. I haven't tried it. We'll try it when we're done with all this. What was I saying? Yeah, the giant crabs, they're back. And you guys remember in Risen 2, the only way to really fight them properly was to kick them when they were rearing up to do an attack. And then you would knock them over. And from there, you could safely attack them. In this game, instead, power attacks are what actually will knock them over. And as far as combat goes, excuse me. Yeah, the game still has some awkward, like, item interactions. In Risen 2, the only way you could interact with an item was to have your character and the camera facing it. And then it would lock onto it. In this game, they've changed it so that you can use whatever item your character is facing. The camera does not need to be facing it. But that can still make things awkward. It really should be based on what is in view of the camera. And these sand devils, they kind of pop up for a short second before they actually come out of the ground. But yeah, as far as combat goes, obviously there's still the parry, and you can still move while you're doing it, so I like that. And there's... In Risen 2, you had 3 attacks. Well, 3 animations, really. They would just repeat themselves the more you left-clicked. In this game, they've changed it. It's actually a bit more like the first Risen was. Your first attack in the combo will be the lightest, the second attack will be a bit harder, and the third attack will be the strongest. So it'll do the most damage, and not to mention, the third attack in even a light combo will often knock an enemy off his feet. So if you manage to land 3 consecutive hits, or at least the one that counts, that puts you at a good advantage. And, of course, you can power up your attacks by holding it. And you can hold it for a really long time in this game. It will eventually force the attack itself. But I still wish you could turn off that stupid glowing hand thing. The animations are kind of nice, a bit weird. But they are what they are. Overall, I'd say the animations were done better in this game. They're still not perfect. Especially the jump animation is a lot more realistic, because he actually takes the time to prepare his jump. Alright, show me where we need to go, even though I already know.
Let's go back.
Alright.
Okay, so she doesn't lead you. It just goes through a transition.
We need to follow the path.
Is that so? Oh, rat. Oh, see, even enemies can dodge too, but you see, I just dodged that one, even though it seemed like it hit me, which genuinely leads me to believe that there are invincibility frames associated with a dodge roll, which were the kind of things that were not really present in either Risen or Risen 2. Risen 2 patched in the dodge roll, so it's small wonder that didn't actually work right. But in Risen, even if you dodged, as long as you were within the enemy's attack tracer, it would still hit you. In this one, you generally seem to be... here, you can see there's a return to the chapters, so that's kind of cool.
There's the old temple.
A bit old school.
Now we just have to get there.
Isn't that the ultimate question? It's a bit dark here, isn't it? I should turn the brightness back up. I don't quite have this on maximum settings. Whoops, that's the wrong way. It's such a dramatic difference, so... I don't quite have it on maximum settings. The game doesn't run... it doesn't even reach 30 frames per second on my computer. Even if I turn things down, it doesn't make a huge... Excuse me, it doesn't make a huge difference, so I'm not going to fuss with that too much. And now I just got an achievement because I've gone through this tutorial 3 times.
Nobody messes. Look, there's something over there.
So you can see having a companion makes
Looks like a dead pirate.
makes everything a lot easier.
Just as I thought. We're not the only ones looking for the old temple. You should take a look. Maybe he's got something of use.
So yeah, I don't really like the new way Patty looks. I don't know why they had to change it, considering almost all the assets in this game are based on Risen 2. It's hard to imagine why they had to completely redesign her appearance. I mean, I was satisfied enough with Risen 2. It didn't look like it did in the first Risen, but I was just willing to deal with it because I understood they had to go for a completely different aesthetic with a whole pirate setting. And let's face it, the pirate setting was not a bad idea. It's Risen 2 that was just bad.
Ah, he's got a treasure map. Look at the map, and let's see where he buried his stuff.
So
He
yeah,
hasn't been there long. I reckon he hid his treasure somewhere close.
you reckon? Do you reckon? And yeah. So you can set quest markers again, and you can actually, I'm sure you guys know this, but you can actually activate a mini-map. I have turned it off because I don't really want it. I have turned it off in favor of a compass. I don't really, I want to kind of have at least that sort of the same feel I had with the original game, the original Gothics, where I could get lost in the process of looking for something else. So if you want to do that, you can see we're trying to go south. I mean, this is a tutorial, so it's a bit more linear than just about anything else. And oh, that's interesting. So the way the arrow faces depends on which way the camera is facing, not which way the character is facing. So do keep that in mind. So yeah, we're trying to go south, so I can follow the compass to say south. But there is a ghostly fucker in the way.
What was that? I felt as if... There. Just then.
So you can see the pistols work pretty much the same way. I took a look at the skills in the last recording, so I guess I'll do it again here. Here's the character menu. These are all the attributes. There are 8 in total. Melee affects piercing, slashing, swords. I'm not really sure why swords are separate from piercing and slashing, considering piercing and slashing weapons are probably swords. So what exactly does this weapon fall under? Apparently this is a piercing weapon. What's annoying... Okay, the crab stabber, which sounds like a piercing weapon, is actually a sword. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, this actually puts a negative score on your piercing weapon skill. I don't get that. What's the point of that? It's not classed as a piercing weapon, so having that penalty isn't going to affect you at all. Piercing weapons is 70. If I put this back on, 75. So that's pointless. That doesn't make any sense at all. I just noticed that. So anyway, most of these are self-explanatory. Cunning is dirty tricks, really. Anything you pull in the middle of combat to surprise people. So pistols, crossbows, and daggers, and critical hits with all those things. What's annoying is that pistols, crossbows, and daggers barely differ at all. Once again, a lot like Risen 2, they're mostly an aesthetic difference. And when we go to ranged, shotguns and muskets aren't really that different either. When they said that bows are making a return, that was an exaggeration. They really meant crossbows, and crossbows are no different than pistols, as I said. They're things that you have attached to your belt and you just pull in the middle of melee combat. Influence affects Silver Tongue and Intimidate. Toughness is your ability to resist damage, bullets, blades, and magic. Dexterity is your ability to certain thieving skills, pickpocketing and lockpicking. Magic is just your proficiency in the 3 schools of magic. And Spirit is your ability to use astral vision, which we'll find out more about later. And Alchemy, which is obviously just brewing potions. And here's the list of skills. These are the skills you need to find an instructor for and pay him a sum of gold in order to learn. Piercing weapons, slashing weapons, and swords, those all just increase your ability by a point value for whatever that's worth. Riposte is one of very few activated skills in this game. This is just like the riposte of Risen 2, except that instead of having a separate parry skill, it's all condensed into one skill. Blade Dancer just improves your weapon speed. Fencing Master includes an additional attack into your combo. So it's a bit like Risen as well, which when you had a high enough weapon skill, you could include a horizontal sweep in the middle of your combo attack. But this probably adds one at the end of it to do even more damage, so we'll see how that works someday. Swordmaster receive 20% bonus on all melee damage of any kind. Blacksmithing, you obviously forge weapons. Shadowhunter, you do additional damage to demon-type enemies. Undead Bane, you do additional damage to undead enemies. Spider Hunter, you do additional damage to spiders. Pirate, extra damage when combating sea creatures. So, as you can see, some of these are actually guild-related, so only if you're a member of these guilds can you learn these skills. Whoops. And ranged, pistols, criticals, shotguns, crossbows, daggers, muskets, gunsmith. Blazing barrels, cooldown for guns is greatly reduced. Big game hunter, you do additional damage to huge opponents. After you do extra critical damage, or double critical score against, with the daggers. Yeah, these are all basically the same. Glutton, you get additional health restoration from provisions. I don't know why. This is a guardian skill. That's kind of funny. Grog and rum increase their restoration by 25% per level. Distiller, you can distill liquor. Indestructible, your health is self-regenerating. That's one I definitely want. Intimidate is obviously a type of persuasion ability. That's affected by influence, but also by toughness, so that's a bit interesting. So you can see the prerequisites are more in-depth. I think Risen 2 had fewer requirements for a lot of these skills, but these all depend, most of them depend on more than one attribute. So it does require you to specialize your build a little bit more than Risen 2 had. These are all a bit more sensible. So that's pretty cool. We'll worry about these when we come to it. Thieving skills are actually this is the smallest class of skills. And sneak is something we have by default. I haven't yet tested if that's something we lose when we reach the soul-stealing part of the game.
Be careful. It looks dangerous.
So as you can see, it's even a bit more cinematic than... I don't have my weapon out. Even more so than... I missed. And he jumped. Oh, he dodged, the little fucker. Oh, cheesy Christ. Oh my Christ. He is unrelenting. Eat it. Alright, that guy was rough. Now, one thing I don't like is the health bar. Put the provisions at 1 for now. Yeah, the health bar, it's really difficult to see here, especially when you're trying to tell how much restoration you're getting from an ability or the provisions. Okay, it's working again. For some reason, this like when you step through the grass, it gets brushed aside, and it wasn't working earlier when I tried it. Hold up now! Hold up now! There's supposed to be a body here. That's really disappointing. Where'd it go? Oh well.
A little temple. I wonder what happens when you pull that lever over there.
Don't suppose it opens it. I'm not sure why that body disappeared. That really kind of annoys me.
Ah, these ruins will hide many secrets.
Now, Patty kind of annoys me in this tutorial. She reminds me a lot of the woman who was following you in the first phase, and I believe her name is Sarah. The gypsy woman who just points out the obvious far too often and is just really no big help here.
An old book. Thunder rolled through the valley, and the earth shook as I approached the large gate of the ancient temple. Only my blunderbuss provided me with some protection against the wild creatures of the jungle. If a mage wrote this, he left long ago.
I'm not sure what led him to conclude that a mage wrote it, so... And here's some stuff, not anything too special. Crystal Torch is essentially a light spell. So, if we look at the map, we see we have actually passed the location of the dead pirate's treasure. Turns out it's over this way. Just yonder. Sure is a lot more foliage. That definitely does a good job of hiding some of the low-res textures of the landscape itself. Which is what I was kind of hoping they would do, because I knew they wouldn't be able to get that really ideal. So they hide it underneath a lot of grass and some mossy textures and stuff.
A shovel. Someone must have buried something here. But what?
Isn't it obvious? It's always loot. And here's the X that marks the spot. It's a bit less obvious than the ones in Risen 2 were. But also, the whole digging animation is a bit faster as well. Especially because we don't have to actually watch him pull the thing out of the ground.
Excellent.
And there it is.
Let's see what's here.
I love that I'm getting so much progress towards that achievement, in spite of the fact that all that's happened is I've dug up this same treasure 3 times.
Great. But I'm sure that's not even half of what we could find here.
Do you really think there's some great treasure hidden in that old temple?
Just wait. Soon we'll be rolling in gold.
Always so short-sighted, that Patty. Thankfully, they still let you know when they're empty, so you don't have to worry about having to open the same chest more than once. And here you'll notice you can actually affect physics of certain objects by walking over it. Not quite as exaggerated as games like Demon's Souls, but still nice that we can actually make a difference in such minor details of the geography. I don't think there's anything back here. Can we get through here? Not quite. That's kind of annoying. Out of the way, you! So there's still some kind of arbitrary invisible barriers with the foliage and stuff. I do believe I've gotten Patty stuck in it. She's smart enough to jump through it, though, so that's good. The AI pathfinding has definitely been greatly improved. There's a monkey with butterflies of no consequence whatsoever. Whoops, I just dodged. Alright. Moving on. So this being the third time I've played through this. The first time I did it as a test. The second time...
We need a bridge or something. Have a look around. There must be something we can use.
I don't know how she saw that cliff face so quickly. And,
The rotten tree'll make a perfect bridge.
Jeez, well, give me a minute to figure these things out, would you? Yeah, what was I saying? What was I saying? What was I saying? Jeez, I can't believe I forgot what I was saying. I completely forgot what I was saying. Oh my god, Patty, you ruined my train of thought. There isn't much to find down here. But, over here is some gold, at least. Oh yeah, this is the third time I played through this. The first time was a test just to see how well the game ran, because apparently a lot of people have actually been having trouble getting this game to run. I've had no trouble whatsoever. Obviously, the only problems I'm having are with the frame rate itself. And the second time obviously resulted in the really flawed playthrough. So having this third attempt is actually probably a blessing in the end, because knowing a bit more allows me to get off to a much stronger start. Hulkamania! So certain animations like that don't look so good. This bushel of leaves and crud just kind of came floating on the ground. Anyway, I don't think there's anything up there.
Let's move on, dearest brother.
She's weirdly flirtatious about being my brother.
Damn,
my sister.
It looks like him again.
So that spooky ghost pirate, who is obviously Crow, just keeps showing up. Whoa! Well, that was frightening.
Ruins.
You don't say. I must say, it does look pretty nice, though. I like the canopy of sorts. Oh, he mad. You want some of this shit?
Big and ugly. I'll wipe the floor with you.
Oh, I missed.
Show's over then.
Yeah, eat my... Oh, I just knocked that torch to the ground. Okay. Oh, what? Oh, no, it's right there. Okay. Whatever. Alright, we got some monkeys over here. These monkeys are actually pretty tough, as there's so bloody many of them. They're a lot like the ones in the last game, except they seem to be a bit more aggressive and they throw stuff.
Show's over then.
So overall...
Later, maybe.
Oh,
Today, only monkeys live here.
You don't say. So the combat is definitely an improvement over the last game. I will definitely give it that. But a lot of people have still been complaining about it. And I just have to wonder, why do they complain about it? And the game actually makes a strong effort to give us a good, intuitive combat system, as opposed to something like Skyrim. No one even discussed the combat system in Skyrim in any of the reviews I saw. They were totally willing to let that go, in spite of the fact that Skyrim's combat system is one of the most boring and just half-assed things I've ever seen in my life. I don't get it. Like, they're so critical of games that are not from hugely known publishers. Deep Silver has always been a hit-and-miss publisher. And Piranha Bytes is always one of those developers who has struggled to get any good reputation in the West. And that really is a shame, because their original Gothic games and the First Risen are just classic examples of RPGs, and they're just so great. And the problem is, living with that legacy has left them struggling to make their break in the mainstream while preserving what they have founded themselves upon. Especially changing hands so many times with so many new employees coming through the works. And it's really difficult for them to keep that same spirit. They really advertised it for this game, but I think that advertisement in the end was kind of a flaw. Because no one realistically expected this to be Gothic all over again. And it certainly doesn't look like it. So, to try and advertise it as such is just... You're just putting a knife to your throat and waiting for someone to, stroke it for you. That was a really weird metaphor. I don't think I pulled that off right.
A rain of fire spell. Useful for lots of enemies.
Yeah, kind of figured it would be. Okay, so there's two ways to go here. There's a route over there, or you can head through here. You find this thing, which is apparently a ladder. I don't think there's any loot in here. And the ladder climbing animation is just god-awful, because there isn't really one to speak of, but there is one to start it. Yes, that's right. He just kind of started climbing the air and teleported to the top. Just grab everything here. A golden goblet. Looting this place doesn't seem that important though. Wow, that was funny. Because, as it turns out, you don't really keep any of this stuff at the end of the tutorial.
Look, there is something there. But it looks like there's no way to get over. Well, unless you can fly.
Well, wouldn't that just be convenient? Perhaps we can find something around here to give us wings. And wouldn't you know it, here's a chest, and wouldn't you know what's inside, it's going to be...
I see.
Transform it into parrot
you can
spell.
Use it to fly over gaps and chasms.
Yes, I know that. And I'll show you how it works. It actually works a lot like the levitate spell of the First Risen. I'll put the rent fire there for now. Parrot flight here. So once you activate the spell, you are flying.
You can go there by yourself.
And as a parrot, you can glide around without expelling any energy. But if you need to lift yourself for any reason, you will expend energy, as you can see here. And obviously I need to get some kind of lift if I'm going to go across that chasm, because I'm going to descend a bit along the way. You can see I'm falling down a bit, but I can come back up. Use the parry button, which is also the cancel button, and you can deactivate the spell. Another voodoo doll. Yeah, whoops, I was using the take all button from Gothic 3. So, single-use magic also exists in this game. Each class kind of has their own. I'm not really sure if rune magic has one, but crystal magic has single-use crystals that have the spell kind of cast on them. And unless I'm mistaken or the game is bugged or something, I believe that crystal magic should have a stipulation that you have to have enough reagents in order to cast a spell, and most crystal magic spells require at least one generic magic crystal in order to use the medium to cast a spell. And like I said in my last video, it seemed like that might have been flawed, because Will Powers, when he was doing the live stream, he had a healing spell, which, unless I misread it, or even he said the same thing that I was thinking, so we might both have been mistaken. He said that he had 2 pearls and 1 magic, and enough magic crystals, but more importantly, the spell required 2 pearls in order to cast. And he had exactly 2 pearls, but he had cast the spell about 4 times over the rest of the playthrough. So I think we might be a bit mistaken. Let's see if we can actually read it here. So we can't turn these. Can't really do anything with these. Yeah, it's not going to help anyway. When we have the actual casting medium, it'll help us a bit more to figure out how it works. Glad to hear it. Let's head this way. And, I said it before, but I'll say it again. I'm going for the Guardian faction with this YouTube playthrough. And I will be doing... Why is depth of field on? I don't want depth of field on. I don't like it. And, yeah, so with, I'll be doing live streams of the other two factions as I get into those, but I'm not going to start those until at the very least I join the Guardians with this character, so I can make sure I don't spoil any of the initial playthrough for myself.
Bloody pirates. Typical. I
Oh, that's a
we're
reference.
the only ones here. We need to stop them, or they'll get to the treasure before us. Ideally, wipe them out with the rain of fire you have in your pocket.
Now, what's funny was the first attempt at recording this playthrough, I didn't pick up the Rain of Fire until after going through that animation. So she didn't even make that quote until the minute I picked up this spell, so it worked out very awkwardly. Now, there's a certain gripe I have so far about the human enemies you fight in this game. They don't make any noise when you attack them. You see, they just kind of take the hit. And they have no vocalizations of any kind of pain or anything like that. Yeah, you can't get stunned when you're casting a spell like that, it seems. But at least there's that. And here's the kill cam. And Patty killed that one.
I guess they were just the rear guard. Others must be in the temple.
What's the plan then?
Unfortunately, the bridge to the temple's withdrawn.
I can see that.
But there seems to be another way in, across the river. It'll be a bit difficult for you, dearest brother, but not impossible. Find your way into the temple and activate the drawbridge.
Why can't you?
I'll stay here and keep lookout.
I suppose you can't, because that would make for a very boring game if we let everyone else do everything for us. Now, for some reason, with these guys, I can't find their weapons after I kill them. Not sure what happens to them. It might be a bug, or it might be possible that enemies don't actually drop weapons, or human enemies don't. I'm not sure. And you can cook things again, and thankfully you can roast a whole stack with just the E button, so that makes things a lot quicker. You can explore down here, but there isn't really a whole lot to find. Going that way, you just run into a water lizard, which is essentially like a lurker, but also like a ghoul from the last game, and a crocodile, who is no fun to fight at all. And this way is just the way you're supposed to go. I think up here there's like just a plant of some kind, just a generic plant that we don't actually need. We can't really climb this, but again, it's just a plant, we don't need it. Golden clover or something like that. You again.
That was him again. The ghost captain. But how can that be? What does it mean? Maybe I'll find the answer in the old temple.
I don't know, but you have one of the worst voice actors I've ever heard. Not as bad as the original Gothic hero, though. I still have to say, my favorite voice for any player character in a Piranha Bytes game, probably the hero from Gothic 2. But then again, that is the first Piranha Bytes game I ever actually played, so I'm a bit spoiled on that.
Someone killed him.
You don't say.
Right. I'm inside. This is the way to the temple.
Oh my god, so many obvious quotes. I hope that kind of thing lets up once the tutorial is over. Now, it seems to me that you can generally get 3 hits on monster enemies before they'll start pressing the attack, and you have to kind of get out of there. I'm actually going to turn the difficulty up a bit. So hard is the hardest. With only 3 difficulty selections, I'm a bit concerned that that might actually make it absurdly more difficult. We'll find out. The big thing is that hard difficulties are said to actually increase the aggression of enemies, so you can't just spam them as much. So it makes it a bit more like Dark Souls, which I'm happy to give an effort. Come hither.
What took you so long?
The temple's dangerous.
We need to get going.
Fine. You're welcome. Patty, always been such an impatient lass. Oh my god! Oh, that was close. I swear I did not double tap there. I actually wish there was a way you could actually disable the double tap dodge. That was really dangerous. So yeah, if you look around, you could find a bit of extra loot, but nothing so far has been too amazing. Apparently fish are trying to swim up this stream here. Not really much of a stream, but I'm sure they don't quite realize that. Frame rate is pretty bad, but playing Gothic 3 lately, I've kind of come to get used to that. Oh, we got some fuckers in here.
I'm with you!
Glad to hear it. Eat it. Eat it. And whatcha?
Oh, that really hurt.
Kick, slash, and stab. So the kill animations are pretty cool. The only problem is the camera gets a bit fucked up when there's sort of geographical issues. For example, that one was trying to rotate around the pillar there, and it didn't really work.
Here lies Captain Rawlings, an old adversary of Admiral Alvarez.
So, our Admiral has one less enemy.
He must have been looking for the same thing as us, the vast treasure of the Crab Coast.
I guess the temple didn't intend to give up its riches easily.
How long are we going to hold out before suffering the same fate?
Does Admiral Alvarez actually know we're here?
No.
So you haven't told him?
Oh, come on. He doesn't need to know everything. I don't want to share the treasure with him. It's our lives we're risking here.
Fair enough.
Are you getting cold feet?
This place gives me the creeps. There's something not quite right here. We should have found something ages ago. A clue, a sign, anything.
We haven't been everywhere yet.
I'm not sure if I still want to. So you be careful.
Does that mean you're not following me? Well, if you feel like you can pick up all these stupid gold pieces here. I hate having to pick them up one at a time, though. So...
You can go there by yourself.
Okay, I'm glad to hear it. Let's just trot along here safely, and... Oh my god! Yeah, that kind of lets you know if something dangerous is about to happen there. But it won't trigger just yet, so you don't have to worry about it. Just stroll on through here. Nothing really here, but there is this guy there. So yeah, the power attacks can break guards, so that's what you have to worry about. But there's a bit... Oh, wow, he came flying. So yeah, if you do a power attack, you can knock his sword out of the way and then follow up with a lighter attack in order to do damage. One thing I noticed earlier, which I'm not sure I'll be able to actually trigger again. If you're facing enemies you can't block, which are mostly monster enemies who have a tendency to dodge more, if you do just a normal attack, they'll probably dodge it, but if you start to wind up your attack, the character will close the distance himself. So, like, as long as the enemy's already done his dodge, because the enemy dodged during your wind-up, you'll automatically close the distance when you swing. So that's really helpful. And over here is something nasty. Oh my god, it's a facehugger. Really, the difficulty doesn't seem ramped up too much. And he sunk through the ground again. That's weird. That happened last time as well. Alright, quite a bit of gold there too. Which is always nice. Tankard, gold goblet. These are things we can sell for gold. If we somehow manage to keep them after the tutorial. Which is unlikely. And here's your first quick time event. I'm going to ignore it because I actually want to go down here. You do take damage from the fall, but it's actually less damage than you take if you jump down here on your own afterwards. So, there's a bit of stuff down here, throwing daggers and the like. For some reason it keeps looking up there. And that gets really annoying because, like I said, what you can interact with depends on what your character is focused on. For some reason he keeps focusing on something up there. And it's really irritating. This over here will open our way out. A lot of throwing daggers, so why don't we just equip those? Those at 3. Hype. More gold. Alright, none of this really matters. Alright, Patty, let's get going.
I'm back.
Glad to hear it. And right out here, it's actually quite a nice view for a moment if you don't wander too far. Just look down here. This actually reminds me a lot of Gothic 2 Night of the Raven. The canyon right next to the Pirates Bay looks a lot like it, with the red stone and kind of overhanging tropical foliage. And even the music reminds you of it a little bit, although it does have a lot of Risen 2 influence with like xylophones and shit. And now we're going to walk into a cutscene. The beast!
My blade, demon.
Oh, wow. Man, he closed the gap fast. Scheiße. Oh, wow. Fucking little shit. Now, what's cool is it seems like,
Yeah, show it to them. What sort of creatures are they? And just look at the cave.
I don't fucking know. I've never seen anything like this before either.
I don't like this.
What's up, sis? You scared? Come on, we're the children of Captain Steelbeard, the greatest pirate captain of all time. Father would never pass on something like this, and neither will we. There's something strange here. Let's explore.
Be careful. We don't know what's ahead.
so there he emphasizes the fact that they're the children of Steelbeard. I don't really know why they find that as something to be proud of. Even Patty, in spite of her sentiments, held deep grudges against her father for being so absent from their lives. But this fellow, who we have just become acquainted with, seems very proud of his pedigree. Anyway, what I was trying to say before, it seems like if you take a blow to your sword, meaning you block it, you can actually dodge as soon as you take that hit. And I'm not sure if there's a very narrow window for that, but it's kind of cool because it seems like almost like you're rolling with the momentum of the parry. Another thing is, if you try to dodge during the wind-up of your attack, you can actually do it. So if you're winding up an attack and you realize you're not going to land it without taking a hit yourself, you can just dodge out of the way. But it's only during the wind-up. If you do it after the swing has started, you have to follow through with the swing, and it'll queue up the dodge to happen immediately afterwards. So, this is a bit spooky. A lot of crystals. Bit of lava. Imagine falling down here would be a terrible idea. So let's try it. Are you kidding me? That doesn't happen. Oh! I thought we were done with that shit. Patty, you're coming with me. Well, on the plus side, you can't unintentionally walk off. Yeah. Well, at least that's there, I guess. Just to make sure you don't, you don't walk off involuntarily. Alright, well, this looks spooky as hell. Let's go touch it.
See, now you've got your own command, after all.
No, don't talk such crap. I'll get you out of here.
It's too late.
No. No. Goodbye.
I have to say, as far as making those scenes emotional, they did a terrible job, just solely based on the animations. Oh, this guy seems a bit familiar.
Uwamba Katoga Rich.
What the hell?
Easy. You're not ready yet. Take your time.
What?
Have patience.
What have you done to me?
Don't get worked up about it. It's not good for you. One thing at a time. After death, it takes time for your mind to clear. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about. My spirit was trapped in the underworld once, too.
What do you mean, you two?
Fine. Then tell me what you were doing buried. Having a little nap?
Look, I was...
And where is your companion? You didn't come here on your own, did you?
Patty.
Yes, exactly. She buried you and has long since gone. But from now on, I'm going to keep a beady eye on you so you don't lose the rest of yourself.
What did the shadows do to me?
They killed you and took your spirit to the underworld. You're just a spiritless, empty shell. It's only a matter of time before you become nothing but a soulless minion of the underworld.
Why me?
No idea, but someone in the underworld doesn't like you. Wrong place, wrong time, perhaps.
Me? A minion of the underworld?
Yes, my friend, you will become a demon, a lackey of the underworld. It will be a long and painful existence that'll end in damnation.
What matters is that my crew is safe. I can live with the rest.
You really think so? I wouldn't take it so lightly if I were you. You need to find your spirit fast if you don't want to succumb. You are weakened and have forgotten much. You need a powerful mage. 2 would be even better. Living without a spirit is no easy thing. Believe me.
How do we get away from here?
I've a sloop at anchor in the bay. It's no battleship, but fares well enough.
I want to look around.
Do what you must, but don't forget you've no spirit. If you don't want to mutate into some demon, you'd better pull your finger out. If you have any more questions, I'm right by your side.
And so, there we have Bones. And here's the level up menu really quick. I'm going to focus on melee and magic. Should put that back down for now. Yeah, you know what? We'll keep it. Maybe a bit of spirit. Cool. And here's the astral vision ability. I still have no idea what it's actually used for. And so we've got quite a bit of story to think about there. First off, Bones resurrected us. What he's doing here, after his ordeals in Risen 2, what his motivation is for resurrecting us, none of that's really clear. It's possible he just did it out of generosity. Let's actually talk to him. I never actually did this.
Who are you exactly?
I'm Bones. We met before, several years ago, but in the state you're in, I don't think you'll be able to remember that. I used my paltry voodoo skills to awaken your physical remains from the sleep of death. The last person I tried it on wasn't so lucky, but that's another story. I'm impressed they worked at all, and that you're now more or less alive.
This son came out of nowhere.
I'm the only friend you have left in this desolate place.
Where is Patty?
No longer on the Crab Coast. She sailed to Tacarigua. From what I gather, she's hunting the one who sold her the treasure map. I guess it won't be an amicable encounter.
Do you know anyone on Tacarigua?
Just the old lighthouse keeper, Jack. But I've no idea if he's still alive.
His voice changed so much there.
Who sent you to find me?
I'm a pirate, like you. Well, at least you used to be one. You were a member of a pirate association that was once very powerful. the Council of Captains on Antigua. Admiral Alvarez has been leading the council for many years. He sent me to look for you. He was concerned about his protege.
How did you find me?
Not difficult, really. Every rogue on the South Seas knew that you wanted the treasure of the Crab Coast. Oh, you had better give the old sea dog a hand. Admiral Alvarez has a few problems on Antigua. The existence of the Council is at stake.
Have you got a moment?
Speak.
I had a dream.
Don't you start.
I saw an island and fog
And?
and blue coats, many of them. I'm sure this means something. We should look into it. What do you think?
Where is this island exactly?
Well, I'm not really sure, but I've got a feeling about it.
Well, at least you're optimistic.
Absolutely. Take a look at your sea chart, and then go straight ahead. Fog Island, here we come. Ah, I just remembered something.
Don't torment me with suspense.
Torment? Sounds interesting.
Don't change the subject. What did you want?
Have you ever heard of the Isle of Thieves?
I've heard the island is overrun by gnomes.
Yes. And do you know what that means?
I should watch my gold.
Exactly. But that wasn't what I was getting at. Apparently goblins landed there recently.
That bird just went to the ground.
And that means trouble. Our route permitting, we should stop and set things right. After all, there's bound to be some loot.
Then I'm in.
Aye, aye, Captain.
So what's interesting, his voice changed so much during those dialogues about the DLC areas. So that kind of leads me to some suspicion that even though they were pre-order DLCs, they might have actually been developed after primary development of the game was over with. And the DLC bills were sent to the localization company. Because he could not keep... Even though it sounds like the same voice actor, it didn't seem like he could keep his enunciation consistent with Bones' character. So that's a bit weird.
Where can I find them?
There are powerful sorcerers on the southern seas. Some of them are spiritual leaders of communities. But make sure you find yourself a strong one. They will help you regain your spirit.
Where are the exiled mages?
As far as I know, they've settled on the Thunder Isle of Tyrannus. They're digging up the island of Gnomes, searching for small magic crystals. And only the mages know what they'll be used for.
The natives are powerful voodoo sorcerers.
That's true. The tribe that you should find most interesting lives on the island of Keela. Strong warriors, mighty shaman, pretty powerful voodoo. I should think you'll find what you're looking for there.
So in case you couldn't tell, some of the camera angles in the dialogues can actually be affected when you move the mouse. There's no real use to it, though.
I need a druid now.
I heard of one on Calador. I think the druid is called Eldrick. He's supposed to be the spiritual leader of the demon hunters. They are extremely powerful dark warriors with their own kind of black magic. I'm sure they'd help you.
What about the Inquisition?
They lost their supremacy on the southern seas long ago. But the sugarcane plantation on Tacarigua may still be there. I'm not sure the Bluecoats can help you, but who knows? I think you have enough information to find a powerful sorcerer now. You must decide where you want to go for help.
Alright, well that's that. That's everything we're getting out of the Bones. So we did clear up some of the questions I had. He explained why he came to find us, why he was here, and why he chose to raise us. It seems it was on, sort of on the orders of Admiral Alvarez, whom we formerly served. I get the impression that Patty did not go back to Antigua to tell him that we were in fact dead. Part of the reason might be the fact that we were here without his notice, which he might have taken as an offense. And the other part is she just didn't feel like she didn't want to deal with that shit while explaining that, yes, her brother was just brutally soul munched by a giant skeleton thing with horns. And so Bones has apparently been serving Alvarez this whole time, probably after he left the original hero's crew, after the original hero probably just gave up his questing. So I was actually going to call it quits, but I think I'll keep up a little bit longer. Give me a second here, though.